Hey, yo! Welcome back to the Nugget and Beyond. So we are officially set now with the Super Bowl with Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know how many people out there actually want this matchup. I know I definitely don't want it. But we do, of course, have Kansas City wanting the Chiefs in to get the first ever three-peat in NFL history. And the Eagles are also looking for their revenge from Super Bowl 57, which they did lose to the Chiefs there in a very close matchup, 38-35 here. But yeah, we kind of going off this. We have kind of probably a new rule change coming out, hopefully next year, as it looks like the NFL is going to put replays in on QB slides, which is kind of should have been a thing at this point. We of course are getting different rule changes along the way in basically almost every sport as we go along here. As technology gets better, you can look at more stuff and kind of situate a game in a different way. Sometimes it can really affect how a game is ended up and what's happening. That's a big thing about baseball also, in which that came out and basically became like, wow, like this can really change the course of not just one little inning, but the entire season. But yeah, this is definitely a big thing, as QB slides are quite dangerous for both sides, for both QB and the running and the person coming over and tackling. If you don't know, usually when a player goes down on their own accord, they do have to go over and be touched in anywhere in their body. Their head, little tap on the head, okay, you're cool, you're down. That's when you know a player is down by just their self. Again, if the player is tackled in any way, tripped up right before, that's basically considered the tackle right there. But for a QB slide, they're technically down as soon as they start their slide. So they don't, when they hit the ground, they've already probably been down a yard before, 2 yards before that. But this is definitely a huge thing, as you kind of have these mobile QBs, you know, Lamar Jackson, you have Patrick Mahomes, you have Josh Allen, Goff, all these guys going around, and they're getting out of the pocket. Now they're defensive players, and they're going down for the slide, but they're getting very close to the player, where it kind of jolts them to like, oh my god, like how would I know you like, yeah, you can fake, like we've actually had Josh Allen do a fake slide before on leak, and he gets another, I don't know how many yards he got on that play. There's like probably 20 more yards after it, because he faked down the slide and then ran off. And you have players just fully stopping because you don't want to get that 15-yard penalty on them. So this is definitely a good. I'm gonna like I think a lot of people are gonna like this rule if it happens, where basically if a play is considered like unnecessary roughness penalty or a late hit call on a QB, it can go be replayed. It looks like it's going to be actually done. It's set to allow replay on QB slides. Yeah, so. It looks like maybe next year it's going to actually be a situation where if a QB is going down too close to a player and they have a hit on them, and sometimes the hit's not even fully that hard, like maybe it's a little hit in the chest, a little whatever, it doesn't affect the QB at all, but it's a unnecessary roughness call or a late penalty or a late hit. Like there's no in between with it, and it kind of sucks for the players that are 200 plus pounds running full speed at someone, and basically just have to kind of like be on edge as they're trying to make a full effort play on these QBs here throughout the game. And it's definitely becoming a major issue with one and only Patrick Mahomes, the guy who's kind of being known as kind of a villain in the league. He's no one really is liking him. He's kind of being the whole narrative out there is that the Chiefs are paying the refs every game to win these win them. They've won basically like half their games this year on one play, especially just the last game. Which there's not only that, but there's obviously a lot of different plays that the Bills could have thrown up there on the board. Have this game probably gone a couple different ways. They went like 0-4 on their own tush push that they did not even get, because it looks like they figured out the Bills with how we did with Josh Allen going over the left guard and trying to get over. So they subbed Chris Jones out there, the massive lineman there, and they basically just stopped that. But other than that, but this is going to be a major thing, as we also had. In that game, we also had Will Anderson was called for roughing the passer call, where it's kind of just it's stupid because you basically, if you ever watched that video with Kevin Hart where he's like, this is how you really have to tackle a QB. This is when Tom Brady was still playing. Yes, it's only been a couple years since Brady's been retired at this point, but it was kind of a funny video where he basically had he was on ESPN and he basically had them all lift him up like a little baby. You all know how Kevin Hart is not the biggest person in the world, and he was also, I think, with like Dan Orlovsky, a former QB, who had the infamous running out of the back and didn't realize it for like 15 yards or whatever. But he basically had them put him down on a pillow with the blanket, and it was nice and cozy for them. That's kind of what I hope we're gonna get out of this. And it's kind of funny that we actually had remember this, that we had Will Anderson, he tackled Mahomes in the last game, and they threw up obviously the rough in the passer call, and in the end he was actually flagged for it, and then he actually said in the game, in the press conference, he goes, "I forgot we were playing against the refs." He was fined for that for like $45,000 or something like that, which is ridiculous. Which I don't get. Like, that's another situation. Refs should be fined for the bad calls that they make throughout the game, and making it look like it's completely like not obvious that we can see that they're going against other players. But this is definitely going to be a big situation if they are able to review these QB slides and kind of reverse them and say, hey, that wasn't a hard hit. Come on, like you're baiting every player. You're making sure that you can get this rough in the passer or unnecessary roughness call for 15 yards that can change the course of the game. So in the end, yeah, this is definitely going to be, I would say, not a great. I don't know how many people actually want this game to actually happen. They kind of want a replay. A lot of people obviously don't want Mahomes getting the three-peat, and also I just personal vendetta. I don't want Saquon getting the winning Super Bowl. So I'm kind of very much left in the middle of, can neither team win this game? But obviously that's not going to happen. But yeah, this is hopefully going to be an awesome good situation in the future for the NFL to be able to review these slides and say, hey, you can't do that. It's not gonna fly. You're not gonna get the 15 yards. I would even say like a 5-yard penalty, if that. But also just be like, hey, like, review these. It's not a call. How did the QB bait you? Did they not in the end? But yeah, this is probably gonna change the course of the games again and change the game plans of how teams play it and how QBs run, and hopefully it protects both. That's definitely one of the major things that they need to be focused on, is protection of all players, no matter what position you are. But yeah, this is let's see how this plays out and see what happens in the off season and going into the next year. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.